Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of The Spark. Hope you're doing fantastic on today. And I hope that you're up and at it, getting after it, making an impact. I know you are. I am super excited to be here with you today. As always, it is my honor, it is my privilege to be able to share something with you that I believe will take you to another level. Today, I'm going to jump right into the lesson, not going to hesitate, not going to hold back. I want you to get this one. Today, I want to talk to you about don't allow the start to stop you from starting. I'm going to say it again. Don't or do not allow the start to stop you from starting. Okay. Regardless to the arena, regardless to the area, regardless to what you are attempting to do, trying to do, working on doing, you got to get started. Because the truth of the matter is, until you get started, as one of my mentors used to tell me, until you get started, you don't need finishing grace. You don't need to be looking at the finish if you haven't even gotten started. I understand this, and this is really just pure science. An object at rest will remain at rest. In other words, if you don't get started, you will be in the same spot this time next year. So I'm here on today to not beat you up, but to encourage you to get started. And hopefully by the time this series of lessons is over with, you'll be moving forward in what you need to move with in order to get started and keep going. Now, I said an object at rest will remain at rest. Now, there's another part to that, unless it is acted upon by some outside force. So let's walk it out, and I'm going to bring it back. And hopefully by the end of this, I'm going to give you something that's going to help you this coming week if you haven't gotten started. All right. So now, if you have yet to start, you are considered to be at rest. Whatever it is, writing that book, getting that promotion, whatever it is, if you haven't started working on that, if you haven't started moving in that direction, you are considered to be at rest. Now, you know that anything that is at rest will remain at rest unless it's acted upon by some outside force. If you don't start, you're going to remain at rest. So you have to get started. I want to encourage you with that. Get started. No matter where you're at, get started. And the thing about it is, you can get started right now today. Pick up a book and read. Go on the internet and Google what you're looking at. Whatever it is, just get started. And day by day by day, continue to get started. Now, we said that it's going to take an outside force in order to get you started. But once you get started, you will continue unless you allow some outside force to stop you. So there are all of these things that are outside of us that are coming against us. But the key factor today is let's just get started. This is just basic physics. That's all I'm doing. I'm teaching you a science lesson, if you will. And what we are talking about being at rest, that is known as the physics law of inertia. In other words, if you're at rest right now and you're not moving towards your goal, your dream, your belief, your hope, whatever it is, if you're not moving towards it, you are in inertia. And what we got to do, we got to get you started. Now, what is the cause of inertia? Well, it's very simply resistance, okay? Resistance is what's causing that. But I want you to think about this right here. There are certain things that cause us to have this resistance that stops us from moving forward. And I'm going to give you a couple of them. And if you're dealing with those, I'm going to help you over the next couple of weeks to get started. It is my hope and it is my dream before this year is over with, whatever goal you have, whatever dream you have, whatever belief you have, Coach David wants to help you get started in moving in that direction so that you can get it done. So what are the causes of inertia, this resistance that we talk about? Well, there's several out there, but I just want to talk about 3 or 4 in particular. Number 1 is past experiences. Well, it didn't work before, so how do I know it's going to work this time? And that resistance of past experiences will keep you right where you are because you won't move forward. You got to get beyond that. Just because it didn't work the last time does not mean it's not going to work this time. Or maybe I just need to come at it from a different perspective. Maybe there's something I didn't know. Now that leads me to number 2, analysis paralysis. Boy, I see this all the time. Analysis paralysis is that when we're overanalyzing, overthinking, we keep mulling the same thing over. And sometimes we'll think that's the activity of getting started by overanalyzing it and overthinking it and keep looking at it and keep looking at it. Now, I'm all about due diligence. I really am. I believe you should do your due diligence. I believe that before you invest, you should investigate. You've heard me say all of that. I do believe that, but you can't be stuck in not starting through analysis paralysis. You have to get over that. You have to move into it. Well, here's the thing about it. What if you're wrong? What if you move out and you thought you analyzed it well enough, you thought you thought about it well enough, and you moved out and you find out this is not what you thought it was. This is not what you analyzed it to be. That's easy. Just back up and start over. I always use this analogy. If you had been told to go to a certain place and you went to that place and you missed it, you would stop and look over the directions or retune the GPS or whatever the system is in order to get you on point. So that's the same thing here. Don't let analysis paralysis, this overanalyzing, overthinking, keep you from moving forward. Here's the next one. The next one is you're overwhelmed. It's just too much. This is just too large. Excuse me. This is just more than what I can deal with right now. And that may be true. But like you've heard so many times, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so the thing about it is what we have to do, we can allow ourselves to let being overwhelmed stop us from moving forward. Because really now we're in inertia again and we're not moving towards the objective. We're not moving towards our goal. Why? Because we're overwhelmed. I would encourage you with this right here. Just back it down a little bit. Yep. Just back it down, a smaller size, a smaller piece. Okay, I can handle this today. Today may be just me getting on my computer and Googling whatever it is. That may be all I can handle today, but I'm getting started. And I understand this right here, and I'll show you this later on. Once you get some momentum moving, you're going to be able to move forward in this thing, and you're going to be able to keep going. Here's the next one. I think this is a big one. You're just plain out afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid of the unknown. And there's nothing wrong with you saying, hey, look, I'm just afraid. The challenge or the problem, if it is that you remain afraid, because you don't have to fear anything. The only thing that we have to fear is fear itself. And remember, fear is nothing but false evidence appearing real. And watch this right here. Do that which you fear, and the death of fear is certain. So my thing is this right here. Don't being afraid is not a reason to be in inertia. I got to get out there and I got to get going. What if I go and I just mess it all up and I just blow it? That's okay. That's okay. Life is not over. Let's keep moving forward. Ask for help. Go seek somebody who's done it before. All of those things are so important. And when you do those things, you're going to find that now you're going to begin to move forward. So we said that it was resistance, and I just gave you several of the resistances that will hold us back. But I want you to think about this for a minute. Every single thing in life meets with resistance. That's right. An airplane, when it's rolling down the runway to take off, it meets with resistance. Your car, when you drive your car meets with resistance of the wind. Everything faces resistance. So are you surprised that you face some resistance in moving forward? You just have to understand that you can overcome the resistance, just like the airplane. The airplane overcomes the resistance and it sets a proper attitude and it takes off. That's what you got to do. You got to get some momentum going. Well, what is that called? Here's the deal. Objects at rest will remain at rest unless it's acted upon by some outside force. That's another science term right there. What? Force. Force is a science term, which means this right here: mass times acceleration. That's how you get force. All right. So if you think about it from this standpoint, all you have to do is get a larger mass to meet that resistance. And that larger mass, if you just get started, that what you're going to begin to do, you're going to begin to build some mass. What do you mean by that? Well, here's the thing about it. Mass is nothing but matter, and it always remains the same. But what changes is the weight of the mass. If you'll gain some knowledge, you're gaining weight. If you will gain an understanding, you're gaining weight. So maybe you don't know how to do what you're attempting to do right now, but gain some mass and get started. And you will find that now your resistance is overtaken by your mass, and your mass will begin to move. That's acceleration. And when you get the acceleration, now here's something that this law also tells us, that an object in motion will normally continue in motion unless it's met by some outside force. So what you've got to do, you just got to get enough weight on your mass and get some acceleration, get going, and watch what's going to begin to happen. So I want to encourage you with that on today. Become larger, grow, develop, learn. Hey, I'm telling you, there's somebody out there who's done it before you. You just got to find that person, find out what they did. I do that all the time. Let me go do some research so I can grow my mass. I can get some weight behind it. And now I can begin to accelerate. And I understand this, that once I begin to accelerate, once I start moving, once I get some momentum, oh boy, now it's beginning to happen. I want to encourage you. Don't allow the start to stop you from starting. Get started today. It is not too late. You're not, you haven't lost anything. You're not behind in anything. All you got to do is get started. So don't you dare, I'm encouraging you, don't you dare allow the start to stop you from starting. I hope that helped you on today. It definitely encouraged me. And thank you for being here with me. And I'm going to ask you to do one other thing before I go. Please share this with someone. People need to know that, hey, it's not a lost cause. All you got to do is get started and don't allow the start to stop you from starting. All right. And if I can be of any other service to you, to help you in any kind of way, to coach you through it, please reach out to me. You can direct message me or personal message me. I'll be more than happy to help you in any way I can. Well, I'm out of here. So let's get started this week. But remember this right here. You are the architect of your life. And I, Coach David, I believe in you. Get out there and get started. I'll see you next week. Bye.